Well, I've gotten some big responses about the scrap and punch cards. People said they like them, and they always like more ideas for what to do with scrap paper. So I decided to do something a little bit out of the ordinary, and that is I'm going to use a Christmas ornament punch. This is the Christmas ornament punch. And in the first card, I used this ribbon punch, but I'm not using it in the second one. But I did use it in the first one, and this was scrap paper as well. And this is the first time that I'm using all of one pattern of scrap paper in this section. And then the other, what I'm going to do in our next card is I'm making the base out of the lighter purple, and I'm making the top out of the darker purple, and then I'm going to be using some of this green ribbon to wrap around it, and I'm still going to be using the punches of the ornament. So that's our plan, and I've already punched out quite a few of the ornaments, and we don't need that base yet. And this is a 5.5 by 5.5 card. I thought that it would be nice to do a little bit of a different size card. I decided what I was going to do is do a 5.5 by 5.5 card that would make it a little bit different than our other size cards that we've been doing. I just thought it'd be a little bit out of the ordinary. And I'm going to start, I don't know if you can see that right off the bat, but I'm going to start this one off the edge, and then we're going to go on to the card. I think I told you before, I like the look of that. I think it really makes it a little bit more interesting. And these are really easy to line up because the ornament themselves have kind of a shape that fits in line with the other ornaments. The last one I did, I decided to try to see how it would work with a glue stick. I don't usually use glue sticks, but I thought, well, we'll give it a shot. And it was all right. I wouldn't say it was a lot easier, and the reason I think it wasn't as easy is because it's when you have ones that are going off the edge like these do, then you have to have something that sets up fast, and I didn't think that set up quick enough. And I think what I'm going to do is have Rich fast forward through this part so you don't have to watch me glue all these down, and then we'll come back once they're all glued on. Is we're going to trim them off the back. We just want to make sure that the edges are all clean, so we'll just cut them off so that they are even at the edges. Then I thought this time what we're going to do a little bit differently is we're going to use some white embossing powder for our sentiment, and we're going to put we'll heat set it, and we'll put our ribbon on it, and we're going to pop the whole thing up on foam tape so it'll be raised off the surface. So the first thing you're going to want to do anytime you're doing anything with embossing powder, you should always have something underneath it that you can that you can dump your embossing powder into. You also use something to make sure that you take off any of your take off your fingerprints, take off any kind of marks on it. And that was just cornstarch in that little baggie. So this is a sentiment that is an old Stampin' Up sentiment. I don't even know the name of the set it comes from. It just says just a little note to tell you how special you are. I thought that was nice, and I thought it would look good with this. This is white embossing powder that hopefully it'll match our pattern of our paper. And this is from Ranger. I'm putting a ton on there. Okay. Anytime you use your heat gun, you want to make sure that you're not, that you don't get it, or that you don't have your hands in the way, and you also want to make sure that you start it off the paper and heat it up before you heat your image. You want to make sure that it's hot, and I'm going to go on the back and heat it from the back first. This is that foam tape that I bought from the Dollar Tree that's so horribly sticky, so if I start to lose my mind, you'll know it's because I sometimes have to go off camera with this because it is so sticky. I had to use glue gun on my scissors because they were so bad. I'm sorry I have to go off camera to cut this because it's so sticky that I just can't seem to get it to work on camera and still keep my sanity. I've got a plan. It's all starting to come together, or not. And I'm also going to cut my ribbon in half and not run it the whole back of the card because there's no point in wasting that much ribbon. So what we're going to do is we'll take our tear tape off, and I'm going to actually stick it down to our card with our ribbon, and then we'll tie the bow. Well, I'll cross our fingers because you know me and bows. You never know. Make sure I'm happy with where I'm going to put this. I'm going to put it pretty close to the top, like right there. And then same on the other side. And then we'll be able to stick it down to our base if I can get my fingers out from under it. Hope. Ugh, that just is the worst. If you could see my fingers now, you would be grossed out because, alright, I'll show it to you. Look at that. That's that stupid, it's just so horrible. I just can't believe that stuff is so sticky. I don't know why anybody would want something that sticky, but apparently they think that people want things that are that sticky. I'm just going to trim my ribbon. I just hacked that a little bit. Couldn't see it very well. Okay, there's that edge, and then I'll trim this edge. Okay, and then we'll just tie our bow, hopefully. Maybe that's the key to me making a great bow, is having that sticky stuff stuck to my hand. Oh, come on. Hard to believe. That sticky stuff did kind of help me out a little bit there. That was odd. Okay, I'm going to cut my... Jeez, that's gross. Okay. So, here is our card. Well, here's both of our cards. This one is the one I just did that's a little bit different because it's 5.5 by 5.5, and this one is your typical A2 size card, which is 4.25 by 5.5. Oh, I forgot to tell you this. On the inside of this one, I thought that it would be fine to just do the light purple, but on this one I used some scissors that cut the paper so it looks like you tore it. I thought that was kind of cool looking. So that's our project. I hope you like it. I hope you give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and let your friends know about me on Pinterest, Instagram, you name it, YouTube. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.